What is up, Power Maniacs? Pyrostasis here, and today we're trying something a little bit different or a little bit new, however you want to call it. We have played Warthunder before. You can see that I'm rank 7 on Warthunder. Of course, that's in the Plains setup, where I was using these type of deals here. But since I played last, and it's been a long time, Warthunder has switched over to ground battles as well. So you have these tanks. This one's one of the newbie tanks you start off with. Man, it looks like it's already been through hell and then like left out in a redneck's front yard on stilts for like, or cinder blocks for like, I don't know, a decade and a half. It's been on the cinder blocks since World War II, and we're just bringing it out now to do a little reenactment. But oddly enough, this little bastard does pretty good for me, which is kind of funny because I went ahead and bought like the starter package or whatnot, which comes with this. And maybe I'm just not using it right yet, but I suck with this thing. Of course, it was my first game, but I kind of kicked ass with this little guy. So I'm a little intrigued that the free one I mean, I went on a rampage. I'll show you guys the footage here in just a second. I think it was 5 kills, 1 death. So not too shabby, not too shabby. But War Thunder is kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting. You've got, for those of you, and I'm going to cover some of this from the standpoint that you are unaware of what War Thunder is. If you are, you may want to just skip ahead until the combat side of things, which will be towards the end of the video. But for those of you guys who've never played it before, like I said, you have 2 sides. You have the airplane side where you're doing air battles, where you're fighting other airplanes. You're engaging ground targets, but as far as I know, the ground targets are not actually players, they're just NPCs. But the majority of the game is based around the air battles and such along those lines. Your bombers try to take out the ground targets, you try and take out the airplanes, etc., etc. And you can play either the bomber or the dogfighters. There's a few different classes. Well, I mean, there's a shit ton of different airplanes, as you can see here. From you got your little biplanes to, you know, your, I don't know what you call these, the single engine badasses. They even have some jet engines. You got the weird ass flying wing type stuff. You got some MiGs that are jet engine powered. You've got your big bomber type looking things. Of course, I may be highlighting ships that aren't actually bombers. So do take that with a grain of salt. I guess it would help if I actually looked at the American side where I know a little bit more. So these would be the bombers for America, which is kind of interesting. I don't see a B-52. You would think a B-52 would be on here. You got the B-17s and the B-25s, et cetera, et cetera. But we will be doing both the air battles and the ground battles. That being said, one caveat I do want to put in, I'm not all that good at the air battles. So if it turns out that my redneck ass is just incapable of learning the air battles, then we will probably do primarily tank. I am mainly excited about the tank stuff. But, you know, your mileage may vary. Now, some of you guys were going to be probably asking, well, if you're playing the tank side, why not just go play World of Tanks? Well, a couple reasons. Number one, War Thunder. I like the tank battles and the way tanks work here. Which I'll go into a little bit more detail here in a minute when I show you guys the gameplay. But I like the mechanics of the tank battles a little bit better, at least in the first couple of games I've played. Now, granted, I've only played a few games, so my view is skewed. You know, it's kind of like one of those things where like you first sit down and you try something like, oh, that's pretty good. And then you try it again and again and again, and it's like, oh, I was totally wrong. Give me some time. Give me some time. But the tank battles, I do like them a lot because unlike World of Tanks, the tank battles seem to be more about precision. And what I mean by that is when you're shooting at a tank, like you're going to see this tank here, you've got a little compartment here. You've got the commanders and such up here. And I may actually be able to show you guys that here if I can figure out. There is a way for me to show you guys the armor. And I'm trying to figure out how to do that. That's not... show armor. Here we go. So you can see the armor layout here. So you can see kind of where your weak points are. Like right here, that's a weak point. That's a weak point. That's a weak point. That would be a weak point. This is mediocre. This would be a... Or maybe it's the other way around. Maybe green is hard and red is weak. I guess red would be the weak. That's 35 millimeter. Nope, green was right. So yeah, hitting these things in the green side is where you're going to do your most damage. And so when you're aiming at an enemy tank, your cursor... Let me go ahead and get out of this because that sounds a little funky. Oh, wait, we could show the X-ray there? I like the... Oh, damn it. Customize, show armor, show X-ray. There you go. So you can see the guys inside of here. So these are the dudes that you aim for. Because if, you disable the driver, you kill the driver, then, one of these guys has to move, and it takes a minute, and your thing doesn't move. If you kill the gunner, then, you're not going to be driving as much. You kill the commander. I don't actually know what the commander does, but I'm sure it has an effect. So the point is, unlike kind of like World of Tanks, and I'm sure World of Tanks has it as well, it's just not as representative. So when you actually shoot at one of these guys, you actually see the hit. So, like, you'll see the shell enter the tank and how the shell breaks up and explodes, et cetera, which is really nice. It's something I really do think is cool. Also, you've got the engines, which you can sneak up behind and disable, and it makes it nice. But the first series that we're going to go for, the first series, is the Road to the Tiger. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, the Tiger tank in World War II was like, it was the shit. I mean, it was slow, but, like... you just weren't going to kill that thing. I mean, it's got a huge, big-ass fuck-off gun. It's got armor better than, Jesus himself, and you're just not going to get through it. Yeah, that's the Tiger that I'm familiar with. These are the Tiger 2s, but that thing right there is just a sexy mamma jamma. Can I show it? Yeah, this is... Let's get the X-ray off. There we go. This was the Tiger back in the day, and this sucker... Just look at that fucking cannon, man. Just absolutely sick. Absolutely sick. So this is what we're going to aim for. The Road to the Tiger. That's going to be, I'm going to mainly play the German tanks. We're going to go for the Tiger, because Tiger's always been something I've been fascinated with throughout history or whatnot. And we're going to see how well it performs and see how well it does. And, just kind of get used to the game. The other reason that we're playing Warthunder is Warthunder works with my partnership company for who I do YouTube through. And so everybody that I sign up for the game, I get a small kickback. So keep that in mind. I am sort of being paid to play this game. So keep what I say in a grain of salt, that there are some other motivations outside of just the gameplay that might keep me playing this game. That being said, the money is very small. So it's not like I'm being paid $5,000 a video to play War Thunder. If War Thunder sucks, I'm going to tell you it sucks. If I don't like the game, I'm not going to keep playing the game. Keep that in mind. But in an effort of full disclosure, I just like letting you guys know that there will be a link in the video description of this video. If you click on that link, you go to the website and you sign up and you play it, then... some money is thrown my way, just in full disclosure. So for the first part of our series, we're going to be going to try and get to this tank. Now, some of you guys may be wondering, how does that work? How does that work? Well, you can see right here, and this, again, is just the newbie perspective. So there may be some inaccuracies in this, which I will correct in later videos on this series. But the way this works is you kind of have different types of tanks, and they're set up in tiers like here. So I guess this is the light tanks. I guess this is the heavy tanks, and these maybe are mediums. And then we may have some anti-tanks. Yeah, these look like the anti-tanks. And there may even be some artillery. I'm not sure. These also look like anti-tanks, so maybe these are AA. I don't know. These look like AA. Yeah, because you see the twin guns. They almost look like they're anti-aircraft, which is kind of interesting because I don't see... hardly any aircraft. The gold ones over here are going to be the premium ones. They're the ones you have to pay cash for to get. And then over here, you're going to see the tiers. So you have tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, and then finally tier 5, which you got the Tiger, the Koalian, and the Jag Tiger. That thing looks kind of disgusting, actually. So our field that we're going to be working down is here. And from what I understand, the way this works is you have to research these tanks. So right now you can see all of these are red to me. I can't access one because the previous tank must be unlocked. This one right here, you can see that we need 4,000 research points to unlock it. The way you get these research points is by playing anything in this tier. So if I play this one, I get 10% bonus, I guess, research points. This one here is 10%, 10 or 30%. This one's 30 plus 6. This one's 20 plus 20 plus 50. Good God. And this one over here, the one that I actually own, is 10 plus 10 plus 100. So this one right here, although the tank kind of seems to suck, it does give 100% research bonus. And I don't know if that 10 plus 10 actually is part of research or if it's just a research bonus that's a research. Regardless, the more battles that you do with these tanks and the ones with the higher bonuses are going to kick this research up higher and higher. So once you get this research done, you can start researching the next tank and the next tank and the next tank. Now, each individual tier, you have to have a certain number of tanks unlocked. So right now I have 2 of 6 tanks unlocked, which I mean, I guess is this one and this one, I guess. Yeah, I guess I have these 2 unlocked. We're fixing to have this one unlocked. That'll give us 3. So I'm going to have to unlock this one and this one, 4, 5, 6, maybe that one. Depends on which ones I want to try out. And then we get to the next tier. And then here we got to do the same thing and then the same thing. And you can see basically from each tier, you need 6 of the tanks unlocked. So we won't be able to just go straight down this line. We are going to have to delve into some of the other tanks, which is fine. It'll give us something to work for. Also, these are just the German tanks. You also have the American. Well, I guess American doesn't have any tanks yet, which is kind of interesting. Soviet tanks? There we go. So we do have Soviet tanks. We don't have British tanks. What about Japanese tanks? Do Japanese even have tanks? No. So it looks like the only 2 groups you have at the moment implemented are Soviets and Russia or Germany. So we will be focusing primarily on Germany for now, as the other tank things unlock. And once we get this series unlocked, we may try out some of the other ones. So that is the loose goal. Keep in mind that I am very, very new to this game, so there's going to be a lot of possible misinformation. There's going to be a lot of oopses and screw-ups. If you're looking for top-end gameplay, it's probably going to take a while for me to get there. One other thing I wanted to show you guys about research is, and we'll look at this one right here. Where is it? Modifications, I think? Yeah. Once you get into these, you can see that there's... You can't see it on these because I've already researched these. You can see it right here. It says research. You can see research and research. As you unlock these tanks, you have to unlock individual parts, so like the turret drive, the adjustment fire, elevation mechanisms, and I guess later on you have to do some other stuff. We also have the fire prevention equipment, which allows you to put up fires. All of this stuff gets unlocked with experience. You can see right there with the elevation mechanism. I don't have that one unlocked yet. And I'm assuming these give bonuses based on percentages, like a 10% up and down change or something along those lines. Also, one of the other setups for advancement is crew. When you first get your crew, you're throwing these guys in, and apparently they just didn't even make it through boot camp. They know nothing. So you can see I've kind of started leveling these guys up. As you get crew experience points, you can then assign it in different areas. And you press up that, you can see it goes from crew level 51 to crew level 51 plus 1. Well, down here in the qualifications, you can start unlocking qualifications, and these will drastically boost the handling that your crew has. So your gunner will be more accurate, it'll do more damage, blah, 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 faster reloads, etc., etc. The thing you got to be careful, though, is every time you change tanks, you guys have to kind of like relearn their shit again. So you want to be very careful on how, I think as long as you stay in the same tier, it doesn't mess with it. But like if you went from artillery to heavy tank to light tank, I think it does. I may be wrong about that. Either way, you do have to upgrade the tank, and then you have to update the crew. So that gives you quite a bit of progress that you can do in the game. Something to work for, something to continuously play for. There's also different types of battles. There's arcade battles, which I'll be primarily playing, realistic battles, and simulator battles. Arcade battles are basically there for people like me who just, you know, they don't really necessarily care about realism. We more care about fun. Realism, from what I understand, these are a little bit more realistic. Your tank handles and your airplanes handle a little bit more realistically, damage, etc., etc. And then I have no idea what simulator battles are. I think that's where you reenact like the Battle of Midway or something along those lines. You know, some famous battles. Obviously, the Battle of Midway is in the Pacific, and I don't think they're there yet. I could be wrong. Either way, a lot of different types. We are going to be focusing on arcade battles for a while. You will see a mix of tanks and airplanes. Keep in mind, I do have a very nice joystick here that's going to take me a little while to get used to. And we'll see if I can do the airplanes. I want to do the airplanes, but I don't know if I'll be able to handle it. We'll try it. Keep in mind, if you're new to the game, make sure you click on that link. It helps me out, plus get you into the game. I'll be giving out my name. As you can see in the top left, TDK Pyrostasis. That's what you're going to want to add to your friends list. I will add pretty much everybody to my friends request, and if you're on, and as long as you have a tier tank that's in my setup, then I'll be willing to play with you. However, if I'm in tier 1 and you're using tier 5 tanks, I'm not going to play with you because that's not going to be a very fun experience for me. You know, it's kind of like taking, you know, your toddler out, and instead of taking him to like Pee-wee football, you take him out to the NFL and watch him get his ass handed to him by Emmitt Smith. It's not what I'm looking for. So if you're going to play, please make sure you use tanks or airplanes that are in my line. We will also be doing some stream events where you guys will be able to play with us, etc., etc. But enough about this bullshit and all this blah, blah, blah. Let's get into some tank battles, and I can show you guys some of the interesting features that I like about the actual tank battles themselves. All right, so here we are in the actual battle mode or game mode or whatever you want to call it with the ground battles. I only have 2 tanks at the moment as far as I know. So we do start off with the freebie, or not the freebie, the paid one. This is one I tried in the previous game. I didn't really have much luck with it because I was still learning the maps. I'm still going to be learning the maps for quite a while. And one of the things I'm struggling a little bit with is the speed. These smaller light tanks seem to kind of move a little quicker than I'm kind of used to. I'm expecting a tank to be kind of slow and bulky and a little I don't know. This one is slower, obviously, than the other one that I'm using, which you'll see here in a minute. But I didn't quite expect this one to move like this. They have a tendency to slide a lot more than I think a tank actually would. You can actually power slide in a tank. I've actually done it before. So you kind of have to be a little bit more careful than I thought you would have to be. And I kind of make a rather tragic fuck up here. Yep. Oh. Jeez. Yeah. And unlike a vehicle, you can't really turn into the slide and kind of push yourself over. So, yeah, I get kind of stuck here for a couple minutes, and it just doesn't end well. So let's, I do finally end up getting killed here. I was hoping that my dude would, like, bump into me and help me flip over, but he seems more fascinated by just watching me slowly burn to death, and you know, all the enemies are over there like, dude, he's on his side, man. Let's shoot that motherfucker, man. Let's not let him get out of there. And of course, you know, the douche lord over here dies. So at least he dies before me. I mean, that's saying something. You know, I'm on my side. I can't move. I can't shoot back. But you die first. You die first. And I kind of wanted to like hang with the tank. Figured maybe after a minute or so it might flip me over, but no. So I figure I get an artillery strike. We'll go ahead and call an artillery strike in over these douche lords that are shooting at me, and you can see here in just a second I get a point dink. Where is it? Right about there. Yeah. So I managed to hit somebody. I don't know if I did any damage. At this point I finally figured out, you know what, screw it. Let's just get out of this stupid thing. It's not working for us. Yeah. So I was a little disappointed because I was gonna have to use the basic tank, and at least in World of Tanks I didn't really like the basic tanks all that much. I'm in love with this thing. This is a little badass. It's fast, it's maneuverable, it can reach out and touch somebody. And that is one of the, I guess, the main things I do kind of like about Warthunder over World of Tanks, is I feel like even at this low rank, I'm able to compete. And I don't know if that's just because I'm with a whole bunch of low tier people and I just got really, really lucky. But I go on a tear here. Now, I did join this game late, so a lot of these guys were already fighting. You do have the zoom in mode right here that you can see. And you may be wondering what I'm doing here. You see that little yellow dink there? When your cursor changes, and yeah, my teammate decided to just hump my tank, which was awful sweet of him. Awful sweet of him. But look at the cursor. If it's red, that means you're not going to pen. If it's green, that means you're guaranteed to pen. Well, high chance of penning. And then if it's yellow, you might pen. And by pen, I mean penetrate. The other cool thing is whenever you do get a kill, you actually see the tank shell enter and kind of what it does. If you'll, I think it's in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see the shell as it hits the tank, as it fragments, and what it does to the crew on the inside. And I think the reason I like this is, you know, unlike World of Tanks, I actually feel like I'm competing. So, you know, here I am. What I'm doing right now is I'm looking for the weak spot. And I just shot at this guy hoping to kind of do something because there wasn't a single weak spot I can see. But you see that little yellow flash? That's a spot that I'm wanting to hit. So I'm trying to find that spot on his tank. And if I can find it, I can, very similar to like Call of Duty or something like that, where you'll tap. If you tap it, your gun kicks, obviously, with a recoil, and then it comes back down, and you can kick again, and that's where you're going to hit. This right here, I'm in an engagement with some guys that are really far away. In World of Tanks, I wouldn't have done any damage to these guys. Here, I'm able to pop them just fine. I don't know if that's because of the tank I'm using. I don't know if it's because of the tank they're using. Either way, I was getting some kills. So it made me feel like I could get right into the action, which is a pretty big difference between World of Tanks and Warthunder. So maybe I just, like I said, maybe I got lucky. I need to play a couple more games. This was only my second game. So I did get 5 kills in this match, which I was pretty happy with. This little tank here, I'm actually kind of looking forward to checking out the rest of them. If I end up really liking this line, unless the heavy tanks just kind of win me over, we may change it from the Road to the Tiger to something else. I'm not sure. So I do post up here just a bit because they were kind of moving back. Some of these guys actually started noticing me. And you can see right there, I killed his crew. I mean, like, they're dead. They're all dead. They're all holed up. They look like Swiss cheese on the inside. Somehow he manages to back up, even though I just, like, killed everybody inside that tank. I guess that's fine. I end up popping this dude in the turret a few times. And I think I end up getting the kill here in just a second. Yeah, that's 2 fragments on the inside. So those guys in there are shelled. I guess I didn't get that kill. I thought I did. Now that big guy there, I was pretty sure I wasn't going to be able to hit him at all. I was going to try and get some tags on this dude, but I'm still learning the leading. As you can see right there, I was shooting at him, and most of the stuff was kind of coming in behind. So he was moving so quickly that I wasn't able to get a hit on him. That dude behind me slammed into me. I thought he was shooting me in the butt. I thought somebody had flanked us. I was a little scared there. And this guy right here, I'm aiming at his, I guess his crew quarters? Yeah, his driver and his other sections. So if I can get those spots popped, you can see that we've got a green cursor as opposed to a yellow cursor. And what I'm waiting on here is just a reload time. That's a little circle there. So we were able to pop a few straight in. I guess I tore his transmission up there at the end. Or drive shaft, maybe? I don't know. I'm not a mechanic, so I don't really know all the different terminologies. But I do think I get popped here in just a second. Which doesn't surprise me. I was sitting up here kind of out in the open, just pummeling their team. And I was actually surprised that they kind of left me alone for as long as they did. Usually, at least in World of Tanks, when you step up like this and you're out in the open, you get killed pretty quickly, which, as you guys can see right there, I did. Somebody hit, looked like the tower. You can actually see the shell come in. Bam, pins the, I guess it's the front section right above the driver, and just decapitated and ripped the torsos out of all of my poor, innocent, murderous crew members, which I thought was very rude of them. I'd only killed 4 of his teammates. I think that was an overreaction by his part, but I don't know. But my team was pretty much just kicking the shit out of them at this point. You can see up there in the top, we're blue, they're red. We've got 2 of the 3 points. We've held them for the majority of the time, and I was just trying to get up here to get a kill. Watch this power slide. Check this out, yeah. Just sliding around like a baller. I don't think it's possible to actually make a 2-ton tank slide like that. I could be wrong. Any of you guys have ever driven tanks, let me know. Right here at the buzzer, we're trying to get this kill. It looks like I hit him in his, what do you call it? In his turret. I don't know if I got the kill there or not, but I did get the 5 kills that round. So anyways, guys, that is going to be it for the first clip of Warthunder. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Don't forget to slap that link. It does support the channel. If you like the video, slap the like button. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next clip.